So, we don't have a guest speaker today. I apparently didn't schedule that, so instead we have a craft talk. So, Brett Watson. Craft talk. I didn't even let you finish eating, so. Perfect. Right now. We'll get you started. Almost there. Almost there. So we don't have to play here. Cool. You gotta play.
Good morning, everybody. There's my name again. This is my craft talk. So, you know, I want people to know what to expect through the talk, so it doesn't seem like it's kind of too random. And this is the agenda. So quickly, I'm going to talk about
Item A.
Yeah, exactly. I should have done it that way. Where I'm from, just talk about my family, show some pictures, a few of my favorite things, and then just kind of me today and all the things I do. So I am from Hemet originally, which is in Southern California. It's about 13 hours from here. A lot of people tend to know where it is. There's Palm Springs up there. It's really nothing like Palm Springs, but the weather is identical. And there's Los Angeles up there in the top left, San Diego here, so it's about 2 hours-ish from each way. My birthday is April 7th, 1981, which makes me 37 years old. And, you know, I had to find a baby picture, so there's me on the left, this is my sister on the right, and that is my mom. And so here's some of my family. That's my sister Allison. She's a year younger than me. And it's my mother Rosemary. And my sister's daughter Claire, and my grandmother Ruth. And I guess a little bit of background on my family history. My grandmother Ruth, my grandparents on my mother's side came here from Mexico in the 50s under a agricultural work permit. And the story was that there's a lot of agriculture in the valley I grew up in. And there still is, but not as much today. So the story is they came here, you know, really had nothing, came here to work, and they originally kind of camped and lived in some trees in the hills above our valley while they, you know, worked and saved up money and found a place to live. And this is my dad, and he's just kind of, you know, mixed European descent. He lives in Indiana. All these people here still live in Hemet, in my hometown. And so yeah, here's my dad. He lives in Elkhart, Indiana. He works in the mobile home manufacturing industry. This is last year at the 4th of July Jubilee. I ran the dunk tank as the fundraiser for some nonprofits. This is a picture of me when I had a beard. So I thought I could throw that out there. The one time I grew my beard out. And it's with my sister. So moving on to some of my favorite things. My wife. This is my lovely wife, Mary. We've been together for 9 years, and we've been married for 2 years. She works at Humboldt State University. She really likes to read. She reads all the time, and she likes calligraphy, so she also likes to practice her calligraphy. I'm a really big Star Trek The Next Generation fan.
Today is Patrick Stewart's birthday.
It is! Excellent. I did not know that. I guess I'm not that big of a fan.
You didn't listen to NPR as you were driving in.
Yeah, I didn't get that far in my playlist this morning. So this is my car. Her name's Francesca. It's a 2014 Subaru Legacy, and I really like my car. So I really love washing my car. And it is
I got a car that needs
yeah, I knew this would happen. I knew this would happen.
I asked a few dents in the
it's a weird, sick pleasure I have. I get from washing my car, and I highly recommend this car wash soap. It's got wax in the soap, and so it works really well. I really like that soap. The Arcata Marsh. I'm a huge fan of the Marsh. And Trinidad Head is probably my favorite spot in Humboldt. My wife and I were married up there. So this is from the very top spur. And just Humboldt County in general. Just really like all of Humboldt. I don't know if I have one favorite spot. Humboldt, really love Humboldt. I always say my favorite part about leaving Humboldt, if I travel somewhere, is how good it feels to come back. When you get off the plane, you breathe in that air. So work. I love working. I'm really lucky that all the stuff I do, I really enjoy and passionate about. My newer business I have with a buddy is called Humboldt Tech Solutions, and we build websites and do computer tech support. Humboldt Traders is the name of my primary business. I largely sell products on the internet, Amazon and eBay, and I have a couple different websites. And I've done that for about 9 years. The Humboldt business is about 2 years old. This one's about 9 years old. And the city of Arcata. I was appointed to the Arcata City Council a little over a year ago. So I spend a lot of time as a council member. And another big thing for me right now, work-wise, is campaigning. So it's spending a lot of time and energy on that. So I'm running to keep my seat. And so yeah, which kind of leads to my present day life in Humboldt and how I spend my time, some of the things I do. So I first moved here in 2006 to attend HSU, and I graduated from HSU in 2010 with a degree in forestry. My emphasis was wildfire management. And in 2010 I started my first small business making natural lighting wicks, which we'll talk about in a moment, which is what you all have in front of you, and that is my Humboldt Traders business. I largely sell it on the internet. And then 2 years ago, in 2016, I started my Humboldt business, and 2017 I was appointed to the Arcata City Council. So business number one, Humboldt Traders, these are my primary brands. The one you have in front of you, they're basically the same product, they're just different branding. And this one, it's a thicker version of my product, which you have in front of you, and it's marketed for kind of backpacking, starting fires. Really, people find all kinds of uses for it. I hear a lot, like kind of around the home, to light, people use it to light their pilot light, or to light a stove that the lighter went out on it, or a hard to reach place they need to kind of extend the flame to, or a deep candle that's burnt down. And on the back of your little sheet here, there's so on one side, there's instructions to if you're like a hardcore backpacker and you're using the magnesium striker, you can actually tease apart the end of the wick, and there's 12 fine strands in it, and kind of make a little rat's nest with it, and throw your sparks into the striker, and it will work pretty well as kind of like starting tinder when you're lighting a fire. So it's hemp twine that we get from Europe, we import from Europe, and it's beeswax we get from California. So it's all natural and all renewable ingredients. It's waterproof because it's coated in beeswax. So one, to me, maybe the biggest advantage of having this with you if you're in the backcountry would be it's kind of moist outside, the season, maybe it's just after a rain, and it's hard for you to find something that's dry enough to kind of get your initial part of your fire going. So because it's waxy, it's waterproof, and it'll burn pretty slow. And so some of the other, the one on here, the dental floss, that was something somebody came up with. I don't think you'd have to be pretty hard off. Yeah, for Bigfoot, there you go. Yeah. So, but everything else, it is that particular version you have is really strong. I want to say it has about an 80-pound test, and so I've used it to tie up a bear bag out in the backcountry. Something, any kind of line or rope or string breaks. I've heard people say that, they've used it as a belt or their bootlace broke, their strap on their bag broke. So it's very, as you can see, it's small, it's lightweight, so I think it does make an easy, good, inexpensive addition to your outdoor gear. And this is just, just picture the product burning, light the end of it, light what you need to light with it. And my other business, Humboldt Tech Solutions. Right now, we built a few websites, and most recently, this is the site we built for the North Coast Environmental Center, their new website. And we do all the tech support for the North Coast Environmental Center. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much that business. And then on April 13th, 2017, I was appointed to the Arcata City Council. This is a picture from when I was sitting up on the dais for the public interview we did. Basically, a council member at the time, Mark Wheatley, left his seat open. He took a job in Fortuna as their city manager. And they opened up an application process, or an application to the public, so anybody that was a registered voter in the city of Arcata and could collect 30 signatures of other registered voters could apply. And myself and 6 other people applied. At the end, 1 person dropped out, and so there were 6 people total left, and they had us all sit up on the dais where the council sits, and then they sat down and just kind of did a speed round of questions. And at the end, I was picked, so I was very fortunate that I was chosen. And some of my council duties and other community service I do. I'm currently the vice mayor of the city of Arcata. I spend about 20 to 30 hours a week doing that. I always like to tell people, if you live in the city of Arcata, I work for you. And if you own a business in the city of Arcata but you don't live here, I'll still listen to you. No, seriously, I really try to be accessible and open to everybody. And so yeah, please always feel free to contact me if there's anything I can ever help with. Currently, I'm the vice chair for the Redwood Region Economic Development Commission. Committee. I always forget.
I'm sorry about that.
Right. And
That was John.
and I'm the city liaison for that. I'm also a member of the city liaison for the Arcata Chamber of Commerce, which are
Yay, Chamber of Commerce!
And a new thing I'm doing, I'm the co-chair of the Bayside Community Hall Fundraising Committee. They're trying to raise money right now to do a lot of upgrades around the hall. They really want to fix up their kitchen and make it a commercial kitchen, so they can use that as a source of revenue to rent out the kitchen. So that's something that, it's a great facility, great people, do a lot of really neat events, so I'm happy to be a part of that. I'm a big, I really like Friends of the Arcata Marsh, and I'm a lifetime member, a volunteer there. Before I was on council, I would kind of sit at the front desk and help out on the weekends. And I'm also the city liaison for Foam right now. And for several years, I volunteered at the Arcata Senior Center, which is basically the community center, like the lunchroom, and the seniors have lunch there every day. And every Thursday at noon, I would show up there, and seniors can bring any devices, phones, laptops. What I see a lot are, maybe their kid lives out of town, they come to town to visit mom or dad, buy them the latest whatever, and then leave them with it. And so we're trying to figure out how to use it. So yeah.
What time?
That is at noon. And I'm really, I'm always happy to help anybody. So I'm really always happy to help. And something I've done, started a few months ago, I became a big brother with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and that's really enjoyed that. That's really instantly became the most fulfilling thing I do. There's a lot of things as a council member I can't do without a vote of other council members. So this is something I really I'm able to do directly and get a lot more immediate gratification from. And Rotary Club. And then, running to keep my seat for the 2019-2022 term. And that is pretty much what I spend all my time doing. That is the end of it. This is a photo last year at Halloween. We did trick or treat on the plaza, and Stephanie, who has the tuxedo shop downstairs, I believe she's in Rotary. She was really instrumental in, and also Coco at Possible Waco, in getting the tractor donated and the trailer donated, and they didn't have anybody to drive the tractor. And so I was there, and I was able to drive the tractor, and I drove the tractor around the plaza. And how many people have driven a tractor around the plaza?
Around the plaza.
So it was pretty cool. And the chief of police was there at the time, and it was, kind of looked at me like, what's going on here? But in the end, he blessed it, so it was great. People loved it. And yeah, do we have time for a joke or no?
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't know, it better be good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, you didn't have time for that.
So a guy walks into a bar. He orders 3 individual beers. Some of you probably heard this. So he orders 3 individual beers and sits down, drinks 1 beer at a time, leaves. And the bartender, the regulars, they're kind of like, what's going on with this guy? And so as they become more familiar with him, they start talking to him about it. He goes, oh, well, when I left home, I had 2 brothers, and we made a pact that every time we go out for a drink, we each have a drink for each other. And so this happens, for some time, and one day he goes into the bar and he just orders 2 beers, and everyone in the bar is like, oh man, somebody must have died in his family. And they, the bartender asks him, hey man, is everything okay? And I see you're just ordering 2 beers, and he goes, yeah, everything's fine. He goes, I just quit drinking.
Would you like to come up?
I would.
I'm going to let you hand this to it because.
Colored blue badge.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right. Sweet. Ooh, it's got a magnet.
It does.
All right.
Yes.
Ooh, those are fancy.
You're fancy.
Cool, thanks so much. Yeah.
So now, as is tradition, if everyone would stand up and. That's when they get inducted?
Very welcome. Sit down.
That's fine, because I get to say what we do, so.
He's the boss of us.
Since I make a mistake.
We all know the president never makes mistakes. Hey, Howard. How are you? Yeah, I think I got a couple of August. Just have to check for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're not done yet.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay, cool.
All right.
Wait! Brett didn't do the traditional blue badge dance. As is our tradition, right?
This is our tradition.
Come on, let's go with it.
If we're going to do the traditional blue badge dance, honor me with the first blue badge dance?
No,
Tradition
just ended.
I believe that former President Gregg has said that's not.
You know what?
Past residents, can we have a meeting really quick?
It's all right.